Hello everyone. Whether it's money, the environment, time, or expertise, the resources at our disposal are undoubtedly the most precious assets that we have. This is why we are so excited to share with you today the debut of our latest project, which is a win-win-win across multiple fronts, both protecting the environment and reducing carbon emissions, as well as benefiting a staggering almost 500,000 impoverished people, both from a time, health, money, and poverty alleviation perspective. The 2022 Pakistan flood crisis was a huge environmental disaster for Pakistan, but it's actually a trend that highlights the impact climate change is having upon the world at large. The 2022 Pakistan floods were not an isolated incident, but rather a shift that's been emerging for decades. Climate scientists estimate that the impact of the 2022 Pakistan floods, in which technically 1/3 of the country was underwater, was made worse by 50% due to the damaging impacts of global warming. Due to their location, many countries, such as those which are nestled in the Indian Ocean, are especially vulnerable to the effects of climate change. Pakistan, for example, only emits 1% of global greenhouse emissions, yet due to its location, it is especially susceptible to the impacts of global warming and climate change. The visionary behind the project I'm sharing with you today is Mr. Zia Khalili, a philanthropist, entrepreneur, as well as a founder of multiple organizations working towards green solutions and a better environment. He currently serves as the chairman of Environment and Energy Commission for the International Chamber of Commerce in Pakistan, and has an extensive array of both field and technical experience, which position him to be a leading voice of change in sustainable solutions for a greener Pakistan. In a first-of-its-kind initiative for Pakistan, Mr. Khalili reached out to Hope to launch and distribute a sustainable and environmental-friendly solution to the energy crisis that permeates life for tens of thousands of people living in poverty in Pakistan. Hope is planning to fulfill the logistical and distribution aspect of this project through the generosity of a grant by GlobalGiving. In order to do the proper background research and homework to prepare for this project, the Hope team conducted a field assessment study involving 200 families in Sujawal, which have been using a traditional form of wood-burning stoves due to the lack of gas that permeates those areas. So these families unfortunately have to rely on gathering wood and spending many hours of their day doing so in order to fulfill a basic need such as cooking. This is because gas is unavailable in these areas. The in-field assessment allowed us to get a first-hand look at living conditions for tens of thousands of poor people in Sujawal. Here are our findings. Since absolutely no gas is available in this area, families must rely on traditional wood-burning stoves and must collect the wood for these stoves, either that or cow dung in order to cook. Secondly, large amounts of wood translate to both a poor use of time and income for families already struggling to make ends meet. So it's not only that they have to collect this wood, sometimes they have to purchase it, or sometimes it takes copious amounts of time just in order to gather it. Using traditional wood-burning stoves actually poses a bit of a health hazard because it contributes largely towards respiratory illnesses such as asthma, bronchitis, and pneumonia. And this obviously then becomes a bigger effect when families are struggling to access healthcare, and it lowers the quality of life even more. Lastly, traditional wood stoves contribute largely towards pollution. In fact, globally, we have 2.3 billion people who rely on traditional stoves and lack access to clean cooking. Cooking emissions, believe it or not, worldwide comprise the same amount of global greenhouse emissions as the aviation industry. Now, there are a lot of logistics which must be met in order to distribute 2,500 stoves a month. And we are so fortunate to be able to do this through a long-term flood relief grant awarded to us by GlobalGiving. And the last aspect we wanted to point out is that Revive Environment has agreed, since this is a prototype in Pakistan, they have agreed to maintain the stoves for any technical issues that arise over the course of the next 5 years. Obviously, the point of conducting a field assessment study is not just to store the data and not do anything with it. It's to actually improve the lives of those living in poverty. So here's our course of action following our field assessment study. Over the next 2 years, a total of 60,000 families, which translates to 480,000 people total, living in poverty will receive for free energy efficient stoves designed by Revive Environment, which are actually an innovative and green solution to the heavy reliance of wood or cow dung that these families previously or currently experience due to the lack of gas in these areas. In order to execute this project, our plan is to distribute 2,500 stoves per month over the next 2 years in order to reach the total of 60,000 families total. As mentioned earlier, this project is remarkable both in terms of its scope and the vast number of beneficiaries, as well as the broad array of long-term benefits. Let's go over each of these. To summarize, the improved Cookstove project will 1. Save villagers money by minimizing the amount of fuel wood they need to purchase in order to cook. Secondly, reduce the amount of time both adults and children in poor communities expend in order to gather and collect fuel wood, thus allowing adults to free up their time to actually seek jobs and improve their financial situation, and secondly, enable children to attend schools. In Pakistan, only 1 in 3 women in rural areas are able to read or write. This project in particular will empower women by freeing them of the copious amounts of time they used to devote towards collecting wood and allow them to pursue literacy as well as vocational training. The factory to manufacture these stoves has been built locally in Karachi, Pakistan by Mr. Khalili in an effort to create jobs for these same villagers. Health-wise, the stoves emit very little smoke, thus reducing respiratory diseases which arise from traditional cooking stoves. The stoves are portable and can be used indoors or outdoors, thus maximizing their practicality. Revive Environment stoves will reduce the consumption of fuel wood by 40 to 50%, thus lowering our carbon footprint and minimizing the deforestation of local trees. This project is a milestone and the first of its kind in energy-efficient solutions for wood stoves in Pakistan, and Hope is humbled to have been selected by Mr. Khalili for the execution of this noble endeavor. We recognize that trust is an integral component of large-scale implementations, and we're so blessed to be the NGO of his choice for this project. Revive Environment's venture will not only provide an energy-efficient solution to cooking for tens of thousands of families living in poverty, it will be the rare combination of a win-win-win on multiple fronts. We are so grateful to GlobalGiving for their support of our work, especially with regards to the 2022 Pakistan flood crisis. GlobalGiving's long-term rehabilitation grant for Pakistan flood relief came at the exact perfect time, thus ensuring we will be able to execute this project and do so in a smooth fashion, which ensures that all families benefit and are able to really reap the rewards of this incredible endeavor. Over the years, we have built a rapport with GlobalGiving's disaster relief team, and their interest, dedication, and excitement at silver lining moments amidst tragic disasters is really something to be admired and appreciated. All praise ultimately goes back to God, and we are so blessed to have prestigious organizations such as Revive Environment and GlobalGiving championing our work, as well as the support of hundreds of special individual supporters. Thank you for sharing in these milestone moments with us, and take care. Thank you.